Joe likes Scorsese, and Raanan is Jewy. It's Joe and Raanan talk movies.
All right, I'm rolling.
You good?
Yeah.
All
This
right.
is it. It's happening.
We're back. We're
Action.
back. I mean, you know, we've been on every week, but we're back this week. Joe and Raanan talk movies.
What are those shorts?
I'm a shorts guy now.
But what are those ones specifically?
They're fun. They're like fun line ones.
They're like Marty McFly.
Well, I realized I hate the summer, right? Like, I've always hated the summer. I mean, partially because I'm fat. Summer's bad for fat people. It's like I'm wearing a coat I can't take off, you know?
Well, you could take it off with some hard work and dedication.
But, you know, there's no way. And it's genetic. But then I realized I always wear pants in the summer. I'm like a Hasidic Jew. I just wear like pants and a jacket. I'm like, I'm going to become like a summer guy. So I got these fun shorts.
Yeah, they're a blast.
And look at my legs. I got thin man's legs.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. These are thin man's legs.
Those aren't thin man legs. They're
good
they're
legs.
good legs,
They're
sure.
sexy
but they're
legs.
not thin. They're not sexy. Come on.
But you wouldn't look at those legs and think that's a fat guy.
Yeah, but I don't see you as a fat guy.
Well,
You're not a fat guy. You're
according to my doctor, the scale, the BMI,
yeah, no, you're not fat.
according to all,
You're plump.
I am
You're
plump.
thick and plump and
Thick and
gross.
plump, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, I'm summer now, and it's good. You know, shorts and t-shirt. You know.
Yeah, go with it. I have that T-shirt. Did you do your album with them, Tony Deo?
Yeah, of course.
Love the Deo.
Did my special, which is coming out tomorrow. We're putting this out Wednesday. It's coming out tomorrow. I mean, it'll be out. This special is going to be on Wednesday. I mean, this podcast. I fucked this all up.
This is like a fucking what's that guy's name? Christopher Nolan film. I'm like,
This time, the timeline of this podcast will intersect with the special. No,
so is the special out or not?
it's right now or when the podcast is released.
For them, the people listening, will the podcast
It is
be out?
coming out tomorrow. This is dropping Wednesday. It's coming out tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. Watch it live. I'm trying to
Oh,
get
so
everyone.
you're trying to get to watch it live.
Yeah,
I see.
because that's the way to help the algorithm and all that. Watch it live tomorrow.
Are you gonna be in the
8 p.m.
comments?
I'm going to be in the comments. Call me
Nice.
fat. Call me anti-Semitic. Call me Jewish or anti-Semitic. And yeah, it's called Brave. It's on my YouTube channel.
All right, I can't
There'll be a
wait.
link. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
8:30.
I don't think you've ever seen a special of mine.
Yeah, I watched the special.
Do you?
Yeah, I watched the Syracuse one with the low angle with all the pudgy. I watch things. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of specials. I don't like watching comedy. I like to see it in person.
Right. But then you'll never
I can hear your special because I can hear you editing it from fucking down the hall. Every time I walk in the stair, I just hear it. Raanan's comedy blasting.
That's just me running material for that night.
You're also on the phone more than anybody. Who are you on the phone with? All day long, you're on the phone. I've never heard. Nobody even likes you, and you're just on the phone. Full volume on the phone.
It's because no one likes me. I have to talk to my friends from like my hometown loudly.
You're in the stairwell. I've never heard you come home or leave
if you ever
without
like
talking.
offered to hang out, I wouldn't have to like resort to phone calls.
I used to text you all the time saying, let's walk. But now I have a baby. We got
Yes.
together. We wrote the film. The film's done. We're just shopping it around now. We got at least 2
But you can
pages
text
in.
me. I walked by, I heard you and the baby in there. Text me to come, you know, can I stop by ever? Or is that weird?
What are you going to Kramer in? By the way, I'm reading Michael Richards' biography, and I'm loving it.
Really?
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, wow.
He's a genius. I don't get this reaction. People act like Michael Richards is not the best comedic actor in the history of American television.
Someone
It's not even close.
Someone was giving me, was saying like, if you had to like pick like a slapstick comedian who's the best, there's like 4 options. And I was like, you're missing someone. And I'm like, oh yeah, Michael Richards is the best slapstick comedian there is.
Ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
the
crazy.
list was like Jim Carrey, John Cleese, Steve Martin, and Chris Farley. And I'm like, but Michael Richards' slapstick actually like makes you like really laugh. Like,
Yes, he's the greatest, and that character is amazing. And I'm learning all these things. I also listened to Rick Rubin's podcast, which was fascinating.
But
Did you ever watch
well,
him on Leno? The thing that like got him Seinfeld.
Michael Richards?
Yeah.
No,
so like
no.
Jay Leno just had a week. This is before Carson had quit. They give Leno a week. He was doing all these weeks filling in. And Leno just called. This is how TV was in the 80s and 90s. Like, Leno just calls up Michael Richards, like, hey, Mike, I'm hosting the biggest show of all time. You want to come on and do something? And Michael's like,
I don't
what?
know.
He's like, I don't know. What do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know. I think you can come up with something. Do your own character. And then they just got together and they improvised.
Back when there was like 8 comedians.
On TV, he was like the lead guest. Like, Michael Richards is the lead guest on The Tonight Show as Jay Leno's like basically auditioning.
I don't think comedy was like as respected back then. Like now it's like glorified. I think back then you were like a loser who did it, you know?
No,
so
I
anyone
think
could get on.
I think it was more respected then.
What did he do? Was
He
it
does like
the original
an
N-word bit?
exercise guy. No, he's smoking cigarettes. He's got a ladies' bathing suit, and he does all this exercise equipment. It's very funny.
I heard from someone, a mutual friend, that before he had his classic black people versus N-words chunk, before he had that, I heard he was at one of the clubs, and this guy said that he saw him working out a bit where he's talking to someone in the audience. He goes, how's it going? And during the crowd work, he immediately goes, fuck you piece of shit. And then it was like a bit. And apparently, we should bleep that.
Can we make a note of that? Yeah. Can we bleep
yeah, let's make a note.
the K word?
Yeah, let's make sure.
The K word from the K-man.
Yeah. Yeah, let's make sure I'm not saying the N-word, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm glad we cleared that.
Yeah,
But
he's not saying the N-word, but...
But so apparently that was a bit he had been working on, and he was trying this thing where he did crowd work, where in the middle of the crowd work, he just started being really racist to whatever group. So when he had that meltdown, what's even worse is that was actually...
He was like doing a bit.
It was prepared. It wasn't even improvised.
Right, wow. I'm going to turn this fan on because you are wet.
He's the original crowd work clip.
He was the big famous guy.
That
he
was the first crowd
big
work clip.
virally thing. It's going to be a lot of work to turn this fan on.
What do you mean?
I got to bend down. A light's plugged in. There's no outlet.
Well, ask Lex to do it.
But both outlets are taken.
Oh, shit. So should we just sweat?
Yeah, you just sweat.
All right.
I'm sweating because I ran a half an hour ago. You're just a wet boy. But no, he, by the way, don't you think the K word in some ways, and this is controversial, is up there. I'm not saying it's worse than the N word, but it's up there because it hasn't been embraced also.
The Jews don't embrace
like the N-word you do hear
It's
at
a
a
good
dance
point.
club, you hear it at like you hear it at Starbucks. Like people just say it.
And we're all saying it somewhere, like, you know, not maybe publicly, but everyone's saying it.
Right, but the K word is
that not
really
true?
the K word is really busted out.
The K,
pretty
we
rarely.
haven't been desensitized by the K word.
Yes.
The K word is like if you just say it, it's like shocking. No one's saying it.
Right.
In fact, it's a good point. Jews do have it harder than black people because the K word, like, if someone says the K word, that person, besides me just now, is probably like a neo-Nazi. While N-word it's said more by black people.
Not just black people, Latino people, and I've seen like Indian people say
Yeah.
it. Yeah, just like
They've taken back the
Generally.
word.
to some degree.
Someone
yeah.
brought up a good point. It was like, it is white people. It is our word. Like we created it.
Well, the R word you can't say it either.
No, but it's our word. It is. We created the word.
Not we, but
But you know,
people,
but like white
yeah.
people, yeah.
Yes, white
So
people.
technically,
yes.
it's our word. I'm just saying. I mean, that's just a fact.
Let's
you know?
get to film. Let's talk about movies and the special. I'm excited for the special, so you're going to be in there. What night does it come out? Thursday,
which is tomorrow night, 8
8:30
p.m.
Eastern.
Eastern. Please watch it live. It's called Brave. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Raanan Hirschberg. Watch it live because if you watch it live, I don't know anymore. I get $1 million of ad money, or what happens?
I don't know what happens anyway. I'm looking at my trophy, my statue for this year's material right there. Silver medal
the Boston.
at the Telly Awards. No,
Oh, wow.
That was for my special.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that thing. It's beautiful. Let me show it off.
What's that from? That's not from the Boston Comedy Festival?
No, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to diminish the award.
I'm not trying to diminish. I just
this
remember you
is
got that
the
reward.
Telly Awards 2023 Joe List Comedy Special. This year's material, writer, performer, Joe List.
What is? Let me see.
It's a silver medal.
That's awesome.
It's heavy. What are you, crazy? It's going to claw my dick off.
Jesus Christ!
It's a real statue.
That is a real statue. That's
I won an
real
award.
silver.
By the way, my most recent, Enough for Everybody, I'm not going to name names, but whoever was responsible, I didn't get an executive producer credit on it.
You didn't get it.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, of course.
I paid for the
paid for
fucking
it.
special.
You're faithful. You're the only one who should get the executive
I
producer?
booked it. I booked the opener. I wrote the material.
Well, who's dealing with the credits? Who made the credits?
I said I'm not going to say, but what the hell is that? Is that crazy?
That's insane. Yeah, you're.
And they were like, "Yeah, that was an omission." I'm like, "I would say, I paid for the thing.
Yeah.
I'm the executive producer. It was my idea."
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't have happened. It's pretty much all you with some, you know.
Anyways, I'm excited for the special. I can't wait. I might watch this one.
You should watch it. I think it's my best work, but obviously I'm going to say that. Obviously I'm not going to be like, it's not as good as the other two, but it's still good. Like, I'm not going to say that.
I don't think it's that crazy. I'm like, I don't think Enough for Everybody is not as good as this year's material, but I'm like, it's very good.
You think that like right away, or like I guess?
Yeah, I just think I'm like, this is good, but to me, it's like I look at it as like a baseball, like a season of hitting. Like you're like, I hit 350 with 41 home runs and 135 RBIs, and the next year I hit 339 with 38 home runs, and I'm still an all-star.
Right, and it's also like
But it's like every special is supposed to be better than the last special. What artist is that true of?
Right, it's kind of like the Woody Allen method. It's like it's not the best. It's the best thing you could do that year.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just insane to think like an artist is gonna be every year is the best thing, and he just keeps getting better and better.
Well, I guess, yeah, of course, but I guess you'd like to be more excited by what you're doing as opposed to what's dead.
Well, I enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
not like I'm like, oh boy, this one sucks. But
You know what it is? I guess I just kind of don't really like the stuff I did in the past once it's gone.
Nobody does.
Right, so that's why it's the best, because it's more that I don't like the other stuff. You know what I mean?
right.
But it's called Brave. I think it's really good. I mean, like, I sweat a lot, though. I think I'm going to get a lot of comments for it. There's a lot of
yeah.
sweat. We actually had to, I don't want to ruin it, but we had to stop production
Oh jeez.
multiple times.
Where'd you shoot it?
The Village Underground.
Oh, very original. Who directed?
It's everything that you did. It's the same. Jason Katz and James Webb, two great directors.
They both directed?
It's like getting Scorsese and Spielberg to co-direct a movie.
I'm here to talk about. Let's talk film.
Yeah, but
I've
watch
got
my special tomorrow night, 8
Yeah,
p.m.
they heard
Eastern.
about
Please, for the love of God, I need the people. It's self-release stuff, whatever. I need the people to come on through and share it and like it and all that.
I'm gonna shoot another one in the fall. I'm excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
And
What is that, fifth?
That will be the next episode of Joe and Raanan Talk Movies. Well, it's 4, but I have 2.5 hours. So.
Oh, right.
But one of them on Netflix. Nobody is aware that I have a special on Netflix. People are like, you gotta go on Netflix. I'm like, I was 7 years ago when it still mattered. God damn it.
You said the F word. Isn't it funny? You could say it on Netflix, but not YouTube.
That is funny.
Right? Like you
That's
said
hilarious.
that on Netflix, and well, not you. No, yeah, you got flagged for saying. Did you say
I got flagged for
cunt,
saying
or-
the C word.
Yeah.
Fahim got flagged for saying the F
Well,
word.
I guess now that I'm saying it, I guess we got to put another marker.
But you didn't say it.
I just said it.
You did?
I think I just said it, didn't I?
I have no idea. That word just goes right through. I don't even notice. We say that all the time.
Do they? Yeah, but it's great. YouTube now is like.
It's bad. That's why you got to go to punchuplive.com. You're not putting your special on PunchUp?
I'm going to put it up for tomorrow for 2 days, the first 15 minutes.
On PunchUp.
Yeah, first 15 minutes so you can get an early release.
Let's get to podcasts. Because I can already hear them. They're annoying.
I know,
Let's
I'm
get to
sorry,
it.
I'm sorry,
Now,
I'm
this is
sorry.
the bold statement I want to say. Maybe I've said this before. Everyone knows my favorite filmmaker is Scorsese. Joe loves Scorsese.
I know what you're going to say, but yeah.
Number 2 is the Coen brothers. Everybody's aware of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what I'm going to say. What am I going to say?
Linklater's number 3.
That's right. You're goddamn right. Well, that's because I said it off air. You don't have to blow it. They didn't hear me say it off camera.
You didn't say exactly you're going to say this, but you were talking about Linklater. I figured it out.
Linklater's number 3, and it's fuck Spielberg, fuck Tarantino, fuck Woody Allen, and actually I like a lot of these guys better. But Linklater is my kind of guy because it's so personal to me. It touches me. It's exactly what I'm into. I like the philosophy. By the way, I'm the king of the egg nut, or the eggshell. What is it called?
What is
The Easter egg.
Oh, the Easter egg. Are there a lot
I like
of
egg nut and
Hitman?
eggshell. Well, in Hitman, did you notice the office number that they're in? They're all in?
No.
To be.
Or not to be.
To be.
That is the question.
Well, the underlying thing is all this philosophy of life and
right.
living and all these things. And their interrogation is room number 2B. I mean, that's on purpose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's a very existential movie.
All of his are.
Yeah, they're all
low key. They're all low key, existential,
or high key, like
philosophical.
the openly philosophical ones. Yeah.
Like Waking Ned
yeah.
Divine.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Waking Life.
Waking Life, yeah. And they're also all kind of low key poignant. Now, you've never seen Everybody Wants Some, which you should.
I got it. Yeah, which one is that?
It's the baseball one. It's like a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused.
Right. And you loved it, right?
Glenn Powell. That's the first time I saw Glenn Powell, who I think I'm in love with.
I think I've missed a couple. And then there's an astronaut one that you said is great too, like a cartoon.
It's amazing. Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Apollo 8.5, I think it's called, or 10.5.
He kinda-
It's fucking amazing. I think it's Apollo 10.5.
He's interesting, Linklater, because I think when he started out, people saw him as this kind of fun, independent filmmaker. You know what I mean? And he's like, over the years, it's just you look back, you're like, oh, he's a legend. You know what I mean? Like he's such a legend, and he is such a beautiful mixture of the light and the dark. It's like his movies can be so light. I mean, not all of them, but this last movie is light, but then also has a lot of interesting philosophical issues. You know what I mean?
And there's some darkness and there's some humor. I mean, and then you talk about, like, I just rewatched School of Rock, which is
great, yeah.
pure fun with a lot of philosophy in there. Not philosophy, but life lessons.
You know what he is? He's life affirming.
He's life affirming,
Yeah.
and Boyhood is an absolute
Boyhood's one of
masterpiece
the
that was
best, yeah.
fucked at the Academy Awards.
Definitely.
And that's very dark and beautiful. And of course, the trilogy of Before Midnight, After Sunset, Up My Ass, whatever that's
You know
called.
what he's doing next?
Tell me.
He's doing one of my favorite musicals called Merrily We Roll Along. It was a Sondheim show. Stephen Sondheim? Yeah.
I knew you were going to fucking condescend to me.
Well, I don't know. What you
I knew it.
I don't know. I bring up a poem. You're
Send
like, what
in
am
the
I
clowns.
Yeah, they're very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so
I'm telling you, I don't read Russian literature. I know Stephen Sondheim, you fucking asshole. I've heard of Neil Simon.
all right, well, I love Sondheim.
I just don't know Dasku Kusku Pusku.
But so the thing that's amazing about Sondheim is
Thing rules. I love that film.
the thing is
That's
great.
Carpenter.
Sondheim wrote a show in the 70s called Merrily, I believe it was 70s, Merrily We Roll Along, and it was his big flop. It was after
Big
Sweeney
old flop.
Todd, and the critics were so hateful, he literally considered quitting.
Hateful Eight.
They were
Thing.
so hateful, which apparently everyone knows that was not.
Yeah, every
that
single
was not-
comment was like, "Shut up, you idiot! You fucking fatso! You said this before."
But so that flopped, and then they just did a new production of it on Broadway. It's the first time I saw it. Even his biggest flop is like the greatest show ever. Can I tell you quickly the premise?
Tell me the premise, but I'm going to see the film, obviously.
The premise is that it's essentially it's all in reverse. So it's three friends who are in the arts, and it begins at the end, kind of like once they're all cynical and their friendships have kind of fizzled and they all hate each other, and it slowly goes
I'm
back.
getting there.
We're in the middle. It slowly goes backwards all the way to the first time they meet. So what is so powerful is everything hopeful that happened, every like song about how beautiful life is, ends up feeling you feel shitty because you know that it's ending.
Oh,
so it ends up being such a cynical, dark fucking. It takes the premise from Betrayal, the Harold Pinter play, which of course Pinter.
Of course,
Seinfeld.
I know Seinfeld, Pinter.
But so
she's marrying Pinter.
But
that's
so-
the guy's name.
But so Richard Linklater is doing a Boyhood on it. He's filming it in chronology. So he's filming them at each age. So he's doing I think it's like a 20-year project.
Now, when does it come out? Where in the project is he?
I think it's going to be another 80 years.
Oh,
I think.
but that's he's amazing, and also what's so great about Everybody Wants Him, which you haven't seen, but he gets in there because I connect with him so much because he was a college baseball player, and he's like a jock who was also an artist.
Right.
And that's how I feel. I was loving cinema, doing these things, but I love sports, and
you were torn. Your coach was like, "You got to quit the comedy and become, take us to the homecoming."
I'm still torn. I like watching, film, and I got the Celtics lose. I yell the F word at the TV screen.
By the way, I watched a Mets game. I got Steve Hofstetter had a suite. So I went to.
Are you buddies with Hofstetter?
Yeah, we're
I never
friends.
heard you mention him.
Yeah,
I'm in a movie with him, by the way.
What movie?
I got cast in an independent film, and he's also in it. Did he mention it?
No.
Oh.
But I know him from back in Louisville. But he has by the way, he is. I mean, people have to give this man credit. He started the heckler versus comedian thing, and comedians, whether you like it or not, comedians attacked him for years.
Of
for
course.
that. And now you're all fucking doing it but me, and I'm paying a price. No one knows who I am, but still,
You do it.
I don't do it.
You do videos and clips and shit
But
of you
not
talking.
the coming back to the heckler thing.
You don't have any heckle videos?
Comedian destroys heckler? No, because they typically destroy me.
And also, you continue to just make fun of comedians on your social media. It's the worst idea.
Is it
I've
bad?
ever
Does everyone
seen.
hate me?
Yes.
You mean the set list thing?
Yes, you keep doing this.
Can't we make fun of that? Are we not allowed to make fun of it?
You can, but after a while, you're just going to be one of these guys that just talks
I know.
about comedy.
I'll be honest. I'm such a hypocrite. I talk shit about all these comedians, and then I go on the road, and there's like -4 people at my show. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I should not be talking shit about anyone. I should be getting advice from them.
Right. And the way to make fun of them is to do ironic crowd
what you're
work, which
doing.
no one realizes it's ironic. And then they just think, this guy sucks and he should go back to material. And then they think I have no material. And I'm like, what do you think? I'm just giving out? This isn't what I do. I keep taking a compilation of literally 6 hours worth of shows. Lex takes them. He makes a 13-minute video of me being like goofballing.
Yeah.
They're like, this guy sucks. And I'm like, well, this is 2 minutes from each show.
But you're also
I'm doing 49 minutes of murderous material.
You're also throwing some shade on these comics too. I guess you're just saying they don't notice.
What do you mean shade? No shade.
There's no shade. You're
There's a
making
lot
fun
of
of the
shade.
crowd work culture. We're
It's
both
funny.
making fun of the crowd. We're
I
the
know, but-
anti-crowd work comedians.
We really are, aren't we? But
it sucks. I'm sorry, it sucks.
But let me go back to this Hofstadter point, because I made this point on Ari's podcast a couple of years ago, and I said, this is crazy. And then I bumped into Hofstadter doing radio. I never met the man. And he's like, hey, thank you for saying that on Ari's podcast. It was nice. Which, by the way, goes to show you, always be nice to everybody, which is the point I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
Because eventually all these people, you're going to bump into them.
of course, I've always liked Steve. I think he's a good guy.
I'm not talking about Steve. I'm talking about the other people you just shit on.
I didn't shit on anyone
You
specifically.
tweet out all the time. You're like, this. And I'm like, what are you doing? You made a joke about a certain very famous comedian that you posted.
What? Oh, Matt Rife?
Well, that's another one. I was thinking about a totally different person.
Who are you talking about? Who did I shit on?
Who's a big podcaster that you did a bit about?
Oh, but that's funny. I mean, it's a funny joke.
Yeah, but you-
they should appreciate this.
Yeah, he does. He appreciates it. Yeah, sure.
So, look. Wait, what were we talking about? But yeah, anyway, Mets
Joe
game.
Rogan.
Steve Hofstadter reminded me of the Mets game. It had a suite. It was great. I didn't watch any of the game. But it
You're
was
one
like
of these,
really
one of these
fun.
people that's their first game is in a suite, and you're like, baseball is great. I never realized. You never fucking boiled out in the sun eating fucking rotten hot dogs.
I also didn't even watch the game, but it was still fun. I hung out with Mike Kaplan, great guy. We had a long philosophical conversation.
Always, yeah. He loves talking philosophy.
But it was great. And
I went to a baseball game with Mike Kaplan once.
Really?
The Minnesota Twins game about probably 13 years ago. I was drinking, so it was
he said it
probably-
was his first baseball game. He really lied
No,
to
he
me.
lied. Did he really say that?
Maybe not. I don't know.
No, we went to the Twins game.
But it was fun. It was really fun. I took a picture with the Mets, Mr. and Mrs. Mets.
Oh, nice.
But anyway,
Singular, Mr. Met.
let's talk about Hitman.
Hitman Bret Hart, one of the great wrestlers of all time.
Hitman is great. It's
on Netflix right now,
it's on
streaming.
Netflix.
We should announce that we're going to talk about it so people can watch it.
Right. Hitman, yeah, watch it. Yeah, chapter 1 or whatever of this episode.
Well, I'm saying before this comes out, we should post on our social media.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that too.
We'll say we're talking about Hitman.
I don't even know what I did. I feel like I said something to make it, I don't know. Chapter 1, you right? Do we do chapters?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like you can click on the chapter 1 for the episode. It goes to Hitman? No?
Oh, like on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you do that? Do you know how to do that?
I think I just say it and then it happens, right? No. I guess Lex is doing everything.
It's 1,000 degrees.
I
down
know,
here.
it's awful. It's not. But, so I
It's
feel like.
these lights. Lex brought in some new lights and
You
they're
know, what
throwing
the
heat
fuck?
at us.
What kind of photo shoot
I'm
are we doing?
schwitzing over
I
here.
look like Newman under the lights when he's getting the investigation.
Season 9.
Great episode. But Hitman, you know what I really liked about Hitman 2? I mean, it wasn't. I didn't
Hitman 2. The sequel's out?
Hitman, first of all,
Hitman 1.
just such a better version than The Killer, which came out this year.
Yes.
It was like just such a
It was
better.
like The Killer, but times 100.
Well, what I liked about it too is that it is.
No more lighting. We do this podcast once every 3 years. We don't need lights. I'm dying.
Can we go some noir lighting or something?
The couch is wet.
Fucking soaking here. I feel like we're doing a podcast in a sauna.
Maybe, Lex, is there an outlet right there? If we could just get this fan on. Get an extension cord for my ass. Remember the old George Carlin? Pull the plug on me. Oh,
right.
shit. Get an extension cord for my ass.
He kind of sounds a little black, doesn't he?
Of course.
Is
He's
he the
from
first-
Harlem.
Is he the first white comic who sounds black? Well, I guess Lenny Bruce, maybe.
I don't know, but George Carlin, yeah, he grew up, in,
Yeah, he's a little like.
upper West Side there in
Yeah.
Harlem. But
But I didn't think Hitman was like hilarious.
Not hilarious.
wasn't
No, well,
hilarious.
Linklater's movies are never hilarious.
They're never hilarious.
You're never like, oh my God, you're going to laugh your ass off.
But it was
Careful for this.
you never knew where it was going, which is what you really ultimately wanted in a movie. I never knew where it was going. Sometimes I try to guess, and I still couldn't figure it out.
Well, that was fun because Sarah was like, there's got to be a twist coming. And I was like, well, don't get sure of that because often Linklater's known for having movies that don't really have a plot.
Right.
There's no twist. They're just kind of hangout films, as Tarantino said. Oh, that's big.
Thank God.
Thank you, Lex.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Spider.
I feel like the Jew in Schindler's List in the train, with the water.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're my Oscar Schindler, Lex.
But anyways, yeah, that Hitman.
That's the best scene in Schindler's List, don't you think?
I don't know, when the kid jumps in the pile of shit and they say, "Get out, this is our place."
That's kind of funny now that you're saying it. Just the idea that they're in a thing of shit and they're like, "This is our place."
I think we've talked about this. We had this
And that
exact
being like a
dialogue.
really
You
funny
said
scene.
this.
It's funny to be territorial about. Let's read his shit. Hey, get out. This is our.
But
It's so funny to be proud.
I think that's the point of the scene.
I know, but it's just funny to be proud of like.
Best scene in
also, he
Schindler's List.
can't get-
Now we're off on a topic.
He can't get up. He can't come back up. I actually don't know how. They should have in the ending credits of Schindler's List showing them how they figured out how to get out of there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess
He should have been. They're like,
pulls
get
it
out
out.
of here. He should have been like, what? I fucking jumped down like 10 feet. I can't get back up.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, what a film. Powerful film.
But it's kind of the shit scene and then the hose scene. But I think the hose scene is the best just because it's like that seeing Schindler like do this really kind act while pretending to like humor the Nazis.
Right.
And then the Nazis slowly realizing.
Well,
like
that guy's
it's-
delivery, too, and he goes, "Where's the fire?" He's like eating an apple or something. It's fucking great.
Yeah, funny movie. It's still, yeah. Well, it is a very funny movie.
There's jokes for sure. And there's tits and jokes, and it's black and white. And I don't understand. People give me shit. They're like, you think Schindler's List is great? The movie. One guy wrote like a 7-paragraph thing about why Schindler's List sucks, and it's a hack movie.
I mean, there are things in it that are like, like I guess like if you look at it in terms of like, I mean, yeah, I guess the idea of a movie focusing on like the very small amount of people who got saved, I don't know, but it's still great. It's a great, entertaining story. But
It's awesome. Well, real quick, I just gotta say, if I try to read the comments on my own YouTube, but if your thing has multiple paragraphs, I'm not reading it. Nobody, just stop. Don't do that.
Get a job.
Nobody cares.
In the words of Seinfeld, you got to get a job.
All right, Hitman rules.
You know
Glenn
what-
Powell rules.
you know what I
I'm
like
sure
to-
you're in love with that woman.
Oh my God.
I can tell. As soon as I turn it on, I'm like, Raanan's gonna be sending me photos and telling me he jerked off to her.
She's but you're
You
just
loved-
projecting.
but
What,
you
you don't
lo-
think she's hot?
She's not my type, but she's
Really?
attractive. But you love to tell people what you jerked off to, which I don't get. That's like
You're making me
that's
sound like a creep.
that's what you do. We've talked about this before.
Is that wrong? I'm the fat friend. That's what the fat friend does. He's like, look at who I jacked off to. The fat friend is an overly sexual pig.
Yes, you are.
But she is like the
I got a
hottest.
couple of those.
I hate how every movie has the hottest woman ever. Like every movie is like, that's the hottest woman ever. It's just annoying,
I guess. I don't know.
But she is so fucking hot. Not your type?
She's very hot. I mean, she's hot, but I like a white, blonde little lady. I like Emma Stone and my wife.
I mean, I like them too. I let brown people in too,
I'm not saying I'm like, oh, she's fucking dog dick ugly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want to have sex with her. I do. I want to have sex with every woman. But
Right.
she's attractive, but I wasn't distracted by it or taken away.
I was taken. I mean, I was hard, but I still focused,
The movie's great. It's streaming on Netflix. Linklater's the man. And it's pure fun.
It is so fun.
And it's also just, there are some good twists.
Good twist. It's fun, and it's like you don't really know how to feel about him the whole time, which is really, I think, interesting because you're watching
Really?
it. Well, there are parts where you're like, is he a sociopath? I mean, he's just so like when he's in trial and the lawyer's like trying to paint him as a sociopath. I do feel like there is this thing where he's somewhat disconnected from life and
Right.
enjoying playing these roles.
Yes.
And then the people coming to him, I mean, there's kind of an interesting irony. The people coming to him, the desperate people wanting to kill people,
Right.
they actually have more humanity at times because they're actually very deep in their own life of chaos.
A couple of them, yeah.
While this guy's just observing from the in a somewhat, it does come off as sociopathic a little. The fact that he's just he can't really engage in life on its own terms and have to kind of be these characters, you know, and it doesn't really feel. I mean, not to say these people shouldn't be in jail, but he doesn't seem to feel any guilt, which even if they deserve to be in jail, they could still feel some guilt about it, you know?
Right. But the beautiful philosophy of it is that the self, it's all about self and ego and the self that you project and how you feel about yourself and how you present yourself and all these beautiful things.
Well, it's the ultimate existential premise. What's the line? I think it's Sard who said,
Sard?
Sard, he said,
Sardines?
what's the line? I might have you look it up.
You're assuming he doesn't know?
Existence precedes essence. I believe that's the line. Existence precedes essence. Just the fact that your existence, you can become anything after that. Like, you're not tied down to anything. So in the existential world, the godless world, you can become someone else.
Yeah, of course.
And in this movie, he literally becomes someone. That's what it's about. It's about becoming someone else.
Yeah, it's never too late to change. And then he, like at the end, he finds this balance between these two characters, which we're all trying to do in some ways. And very similar to Linklater being this athlete guy, this kind of jock, and this artist, and trying to find the world between these two.
And that, when he says that line, which is a great line, when he kills the guy, the cop, and he goes, she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, commitment. It's like finally he's committing to one of these roles. He's actually engaging in the life, you know?
Taking charge. One of the great murders in the history of cinema, if you ask me.
Killing that guy?
It's so fun. It's such a fun way to... That guy also, by the way, is in Everybody Wants Some. He's great. But that's such a great way to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And them kissing with him fucking dying in the background is beautiful.
I saw some person on Twitter, you know how some annoying person go, everyone's talking about how good the movie is. Why didn't anyone bring up the fact that it's complete amoral, like, nihilism? And I'm like... I mean, it's obviously has its own sense of morals that are not conventional morals, but that guy... She should have killed that guy. He was going to kill her.
Which guy? Her ex-husband.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess you could say it's amoral, but like, it's almost like you're kind of creating your morals in the world, and there is survival is an important part, and he was going to kill her. So she kind of was right to kill him, you know?
I suppose so.
And the cop, that gets a little tricky. But
the cop, they made up. I mean, you saw that at the end.
No, I know. But like, within the reality of the story.
Right.
The cop killing him, it's a little messy moralistically.
It's insane, yeah. I mean, they're whacking people.
Doesn't seem to have a problem with that, but
it's got a little bit of a Godfather thing there. Where he's like, we're talking about a crooked cop, a cop who's messed up.
But it's just a fun.
But that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah, it's a fun movie about. It's not a moral movie. It's a movie about becoming. It's about becoming. It's about existence precedes essence, right? All right, Sartre, right? Sartre, yeah. That's him.
By the way, it's also a better version of Woody Allen's movie that I like. The what's that one? The later one with Joaquin and Emma Stone.
Oh, I never saw that. What is that
fun.
called? Cassandra's Dream?
No, not that one. It's
Rainy
called
Day.
An Irrational Man.
Oh, yeah.
Which is has a lot of the similar kind of moral questions. It's a good movie. But this is much better and executed and more fun.
No, it's very fun, very light, and but also dealing with good issues and fun conversations. That conversation with him and his ex-wife is great. That's what reminds you about Linklater. He loves just the in-the-moment conversations, you know. And it's just a really fun movie. And the interesting thing I also saw about the movie is that I think the movie, in a way, kind of is parodying a little the classic, more of a 90s comedy trope. The classic comedy trope where you're completely lying to a woman the whole time.
Right.
And how fucked up that is, but how in those movies they ignore how fucked up it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
But in this, you feel a little unsettled by it.
Right.
A little more, you see a little more of the uncomfortability of it. Because literally every actual comedy movie, the guy's like a sociopath if you think about it.
Right.
He's just completely lying to this woman. He's like, I'm this other guy. And then at the end, he expects her to forgive him, even though there wasn't one moment in the relationship where he wasn't gaslighting her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
but there's another, I was going to say something, but then you just talked for so long. Oh, it was something good too. Something fun.
Hitman, Sartre.
Hitman.
comedy
I don't
90s.
know. I can't.
I'm sorry, I was on a roll.
Yeah, you were rolling all right. Fuck, what was it going to be about the dialogue? But I guess I was going to say something about like Linklater. It always catches you off guard with the philosophy, and you're like, whoa, this is like deeper. Like every movie he does seems to have that.
Yes.
He's so underrated with dialogue and putting like poignancy because everybody wants someone you haven't seen is like that, and Dazed and Confused. And this film, you're kind of like, this is really fun. Even Bernie, to an extent, which is another great film, is like, he's one of these guys that has almost no bad movies, but then he has Bernadette that everybody fucking hated. I couldn't get through it. Searching for Bernadette, or Where the Fuck is Bernadette, or something like that.
But I do think, I guess he is, people do recognize his genius now, but I do think one of the reasons he was underrated for a long time, it's similar to Alexander Payne, which is that they're not pretentious.
Right.
And they're not self-important. So people can... Like they can sometimes ignore the depth of those movies and then get caught up by a movie that thinks it's great. You know what I mean? So like really the best art can sometimes be ignored because it's not telling you it's great. You know what I mean? And people people look at like American Beauty or some bullshit where it's like trying to be great. You know?
I also think a big part of it is that Linklater lives in Austin. He refuses to live in Hollywood or play that kind of game. He's just kind of quietly. I think I just really connect and relate to Linklater. His movies feel like YouTube specials to me.
Yeah,
he's just quietly putting out this great work and going, all right, here's this, and I'm going to move on to the next one.
He's doing art for art's sake.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to kind of move on to the next one, and hopefully that'll be good. It doesn't feel like he's like, I'm going to make this big, crazy thing, and he just quietly lives in Austin and creates what he wants to create.
And when you
just
do
think
stuff
he's
like that,
my idol.
When you do stuff like that, no one's talking about like whether it flops or not. They're just talking about what they should be talking about with it, which is that it's good.
Yes, it's very good.
It was really upsetting. People talk about Furiosa. I guess there's so much money put into it. But people talk about how Furiosa like flopped or it's a failure. But it's like movies, you can't say a movie's a failure because it didn't do well on box office weekend. Most classic movies did not all do well on box office weekend. But we're so caught up in this social media instant gratification, either goes viral or it doesn't kind of bullshit. We forget that art is good if you like it. It's not if it like flop. You're not a fucking exec.
Well, this is the same with comedy where you're like, this only got 20,000 views. Look at all these views. This guy's he's sold out the arena. Surely he's better than this guy who didn't sell out the
insane.
arena. And I'm like, but that guy...
Yeah, of course.
Whatever.
No, of course. And I do think, like, I'm having the special come out, and obviously it's not going to do as well as what I think in my head.
Why?
20 million views?
Why don't you think that? Well, those days are over, by the way. You should also know going in that like Sal Volcano, who is fucking hilarious and a huge star.
What did he get?
His has like under 1 million. It has like, whatever, 800,000. It has a great number. But like my first one in 2020 during COVID and everything got 1 million in a week. But those are just gone. That time is gone.
I know. But the dreams,
like
the hope,
knowing how big Sal is, you should go 1/10 of that. I'm not even trying to be funny.
No,
like 100,000 in a week would be unbelievable.
I should be happy if I get 100,000.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to lower my expectations. I'll probably still get disappointed because it'll be lower than the expectations that I lowered already for. But the important point is to remember that if people like it, that's it. That's the purpose.
That's all that matters.
That's the purpose. If like, I mean, I'd like to have a bit of a career. My calendar's looking. I want
to sell some books here.
you know, according to my calendar, I retired July 15th. But like, if you like it, you like it, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, that's all that matters. That and paying rent on time.
Yeah, paying rent, all that shit. But like, so yeah, just watch it, like it, share it. But like, ultimately, it's just about art's worth is in people connecting to it.
Absolutely.
Not in the fucking, whatever. But let's talk about Godzilla -1 because I was blown away by this movie.
Yes.
Best movie of last year. We're in agreement.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else would be. Poor Things, but I think it's way better than Poor Things, honestly. It's that moving movie that affects me emotionally that I was kind of looking for in other movies this year, and I never really found. And you don't even have a baby, so you don't even kind of understand
human
the
relationships
depth of the film and what it means. I mean, there's just no way.
I know. The whole time I was like, throw that child in the dumpster. What are you doing?
You couldn't possibly. And hardy har, it's funny. You're going to make fun. But someday you'll have a child. You'll rewatch this film, and you'll call me and be like, oh, my God. God.
I mean, I was pretty moved.
Yeah.
I can imagine
I'm pretty.
children.
You were pretty moved.
It is.
No, I
very
wasn't moved
powerful.
at all because I'm a fucking
Can I just
cynical
say,
Irish alcoholic.
Godzilla -1 is better than Oppenheimer, and they're kind
not
of
even close.
They're kind of
Not
on.
even close.
They're kind of the same topic on some level. You
One's
know?
a nuclear dinosaur and the other one's a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, but they're both movies that are a reaction to the atomic bomb.
Isn't Nuclear Dinosaur a great band name?
That is a good band name.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nuclear Dinosaur.
That's great. I love that. Yeah.
Boom. And agree with it again. Best band name ever.
But because I was actually at my girlfriend's parents' place and they were
With
watching.
no baby, right? You don't have a kid?
No kid.
Okay, just want to make sure. So
there's
no meaning whatsoever.
No meaning in
to
my
your
life. I was just there, just waiting to die.
Doesn't
All
matter. Yeah,
pointless,
you could die, and no one. It would not.
I
faze
almost
anybody.
fell down the stairs. I was like, "What does it matter? I could have fell
It
down
does
the
not
stairs."
matter.
Yeah, I mean,
Literally.
my parents would be sad, but what does that matter?
It doesn't matter. They're
Doesn't
almost
matter.
dead.
Yeah.
I mean, it matters to them because they raised a kid, so they know.
And actually, they're meaning.
They would be
but
devastated.
I don't have.
Yeah.
For me, it means nothing.
It means exactly.
Yeah,
I'm glad you understand.
Yeah,
you understand everything.
So
You're like
I
the
was just
Godfather.
there, but Oppenheimer was on, and Oppenheimer. I've always said in the theater, there's some cool moments, really cool moments.
Can I just make it clear that 100% of people will think that I'm serious?
Right. And I know you're joking, but I also know that under the joking, you are 100% serious.
Well, I am serious in that if you had a kid,
Yeah,
it would have
yeah.
moved you
Of
even
course,
more.
of course. Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think that your life is meaningless. I mean, I think your life is meaningless, but I don't think
not-
Lex's life is
yeah,
meaningless.
right. No, I know.
Anyways, so what happens in the nuclear dinosaur film?
No, so we're watching Oppenheimer.
Which
White man's Godzilla.
Get out of here,
-1.
Oppenheimer.
It sucks.
It stinks.
And I'm watching it in the small TV, so you can't be like distracted by the all the spectacle. It sucks. Not one scene breathes. It's like just
Breathes?
a preview. Breathes.
How can you be so smart and so dumb simultaneously?
A lisp does not mean
It's
I'm
fascinating.
dumb.
Breathe is?
Breathes.
That's not a lisp. You said the wrong word wrong.
Breathes. Breathes.
Breathes.
Breathes.
You were able to say breathes. What are you talking about?
I don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to
lisp.
say it.
It's like saying deers and being like, I have a lisp.
I use my lisp whenever I say a word wrong. I'm like, I have a lisp. That's why I use
really funny.
zeitgeist incorrectly.
Okay, so,
But so it breathes. It breathes. It's my lisp that's making me, when I get to the end of it, be like, I don't know how to land this thing.
I see.
And then I flip out. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, shit. I'm like, breathe. And I'm like, it's like a car without brakes, and I freak out. And then I'm like, breathe. Blah, blah, blah.
okay.
So it is
I
a
gotcha.
lisp.
Okay, sure.
But there's no scene breathe. It's like a fucking trailer. Every moment is like a fucking trailer. It's telling you what to feel. Every line of dialogue is an Aaron Sorkin, either a line being witty or a line made for the preview. It just sucks, that movie.
And I tried to rewatch it because there was things that I loved about it, and I got 7 minutes in, and I was like, oh, I hate this film.
It's just that way it's told is just never really in the moment. You're
I
just
agree.
like always detached. Godzilla.
But Godzilla.
Minus
Forget
one,
about it.
way better than Oppenheimer. That should be the title. And it's unbelievable. First of all, the idea of a makeshift family is just so moving. I don't know why that is, but it's just so moving that they're the family that they're not actually related. Something is just so powerful about that right away. Like that it's just it's the idea of these people after the war just finding family and community.
Right.
It's just it's so moving, just that whole experience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I've never seen any Godzilla movie.
I don't think I have really either. Or maybe I saw the Broderick one in 1999.
Yeah, I might
Maybe.
have saw
don't really
that.
remember.
I saw
think
parts of
did.
that.
I think I did see that.
There's no way any of them are close to this, right?
No, I don't think so. Well, this movie, I forgot was a Godzilla movie, legitimately.
Yeah,
I don't just mean like,
No, of
I
course.
even forgot it was. I was literally, there was like 30 minutes of the most moving, beautiful slice of life. It's Linklater-esque, frankly.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
And I forgot. I was like, wait, there's going to be a nuclear dinosaur that comes back into this?
What's
What?
so incredible is that, like, it's kind of what movies are all about in the end of the day. It's like you made this, what seems like a popcorn film, but using that genre to actually have like a deep exploration of a country's trauma after World War II.
Which, from what I understand, the previous one, the 2016 one, is similar.
Oh, really?
But I read it's not as good. It's a little conflated and there's some flaws, but it's similarly like a philosophical film.
But it's just like, oh, maybe, so that's a Japanese movie, but not the... Yeah. But it's just like first of all, it is kind of like that Larry David episode of Curb. He just grazed the plate.
Right.
But the idea of him not letting himself off the hook and not being able to engage with his family, to commit with his family, because he still feels like he's nothing. And the reason he feels like he's nothing, at the end of the day, it's not really his cowardice that makes him feel like nothing. It's the country making him feel like nothing. It's the country looking at their people like they're all disposable.
Right.
And because he thinks that's all shame, he did the right thing. He's just trying to live. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's the shame that the country puts on him, and to see the citizens after this build up their self-esteem and say, no, we deserve to live, and we're not fighting to the death. We're fighting to live, to shake off the oppression of the totalitarian Japanese government is just so beautiful.
It's so it's one of the best films I've seen in my life, and the philosophy is so great. But there's also it's so allegorical, metaphorical for just toxic masculinity in general. This feeling of like, well, I'm not going back to Linklater again. It's like, well, I'm not entirely this and I'm not entirely that.
Right.
And you have to learn to live with it. And also, there's so much service in there. I often watch films through the eyes of Alcoholics Anonymous and recovery, and there's just so much service and duty there. The idea of just trying to be there. And then there's also like this love that's there that's kind of unrequited, or what's that word? Did I use that right? Requited? Recruited?
Well, I guess he's not fully gay,
I have a list.
so he can't fully
Fully gay? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
We watched the same movie.
it's such a humanistic movie. And I think also, I mean, this is a bit of a tangent, but like
Oh, God. All right.
the far left, but I'll take it back to this movie. The far left love to see like everything. They're like, they pretend everything is Handmaid's Tale, right?
I don't know Handmaid's Tale. You lost
just everything
already.
is this fascist, women have no rights thing. Everything.
Oh, right, of course.
But then ignore like Iran, which is actually Handmaid's Tale, you know?
Right.
And the reason they ignore it
You don't
is
have to tell me this
when it
part.
comes to brown people, they're racist, and they think that's just a different culture. And
course.
it's not. Putting a woman in a bag is objectively oppressive in any universe, you know?
Of course.
And to see this movie and to see that, no, kamikaze is not, that's not part of their culture. It's a fucked up part of their culture that they're rising above, and it's the government seeing them as expendable. And that humanism, that desire to live, that's universal.
Right.
And so many of these far left fuckers, they feel like they can only criticize Western society, and they won't criticize the totalitarian nations run by Islamic, regimes. They won't criticize,
or China.
or China. They won't
Who's
criticize
also
them
just committing an actual genocide.
because deep
all the
down
time.
they think that those cultures don't deserve the same rights as we do. That's really what it is. I heard an Iranian woman talk about. Did you watch the one with Sam Harris? Oh no, it was an old episode. This Iranian woman from Egypt cried when she heard Sam Harris talk because she said at one point, people on the left only want to criticize Western culture, but the thing about criticism is things can only grow and improve if you criticize. So by them not criticizing countries where women are put in bags, they're kind of saying those countries shouldn't progress. They should stay in the Middle Ages. And in a weird way, this movie is such a, I don't know, it's not like about this at all, but it does remind you that like this concept of cultural relativity is fucking bullshit.
By the way, they do this domestically also.
Yeah.
When brown people commit certain crimes, they'll go, well, that's from their product of their environment.
They're not
and this
letting people
thing.
progress.
But then, people do lesser things, and they're like, well, he's a piece of shit, and he shouldn't be allowed to do comedy anymore.
Accountability,
for example.
Giving people accountability is part of seeing them as human beings.
Yes.
And the far left is, I do think, racist, and I do think by thinking the white man is the
This
devil.
is hilarious. All these talking points I would bring up, and Raanan's like, "You're a fucking Republican.
didn't.
You're right." Yes, you did.
Well,
all
before
the time.
the left betrayed the Jews.
All the time. Yeah, exactly. They left your group, and now you're fucking pissed. But anyways,
But
yes, I've been saying things like this to you for 5 years, and you literally ridiculed me at parties, calling me fucking Alex Jones and whatever the fuck
I
you
had
want to say.
complicated feelings, but my seeds for this happened during the pandemic when so many left people openly talked about not voting for Biden, even though it was literally between him
Well, those
and
people are the
Trump.
best, by the way. They're like mad at Biden about Israel. They're like, we're not voting for Biden. You're like, well, Trump is going to really...
Lover of the Arab Muslims, Donald
Nobody's...
Trump. Well, it's just people who care more about their illusion of moral purity than actual, like, making the world a better place.
We're losing everybody here. This should go on the Patreon.
But Godzilla...
Do we have a Patreon? We used to. We're doing pretty well with it, too, but I quit.
Godzilla you see how this humanism, but also a sense of community that's like important, showing that sense of community and how these people work together, but not work together to be fucking pawns to serve some fucking crazy ass emperor who thinks he's God.
Right.
It's just such a powerful story. That uses this. I mean, while I was watching, I was like, it's so funny that so many big themes come from a silly monster movie. But then you remind yourself, oh, this whole monster movie came out of this. That was the whole point of the monster movie.
Exactly.
So it always delved into this,
Right. That's what it's all about. And what a fascinating, Japan's like the most fascinating culture and country to me, that they have all this horrible, crazy past of, the rape of Nong Kong or whatever, and all these crazy things, this emperor,
killed a lot of Chinese people,
and all this horrible stuff. And then, Pearl Harbor, and then we fucking nuked them up. And then after that, they were like, let's be pacifists.
It does feel like when you bomb places, they kind of get their act together.
Sometimes.
It's like when a guy... It's
not
like
always.
Yeah, I guess not always. But it's like...
They bombed us. We didn't really...
Just after 9/11, we fucking got our act together.
Yeah, we straightened up and flew right to the wrong country and fucked them up.
Sometimes you just need but it's like when someone gets, like a cocky asshole gets really fat and they're a much nicer person, it can humble them,
Cocky asshole gets fat and they get nicer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lev's pretty mean. I think
that's so funny. That was literally who I was talking about. He's so great now. I love Fat Lev.
Lev rules.
Fat Lev. I hated Thin Lev. And now he's the best.
I didn't know Thin Lev. I only know Fat Lev.
He was a piece of shit. But Fat Lev is awesome.
All right. That's great.
Being fat brings out the best in people. Do you realize how much of an asshole
I wish you would get fatter.
Do you realize how much of an asshole I'd be if I was thin?
Yes.
If I was thin, the'd be no end to my cockiness.
I realize how much of an asshole you were when you were 14 minutes late for me doing this favor, and when you left a coffin-sized box in front of our front door for fucking 8 hours.
I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
You saw it. Yes, you did.
I wasn't home. I didn't see it. I had not gone in the lobby.
Wait, I don't understand. Explain to me how you were unaware. Either you were out when the doorbell rang and you came home and saw it, or the doorbell rang and you were aware that you got a suitcase delivered.
I had a reason. I'm serious, but I can't remember.
I think it was
now.
that you were on the phone.
I didn't hear. I did not know it was that.
For those who don't know, Raanan left a fucking box the size of this couch in front of our front door, and I came off a 7-hour flight with my baby who weighs 75 pounds and 2 suitcases and 2 backpacks, literally, had to climb over all the shit. Then I went back out with the baby, had to do it again, and then came back an hour later with him again. And I said, do you know you have a huge box? And he wrote back, oh, yeah.
There was some reason there was a good I can't remember it now.
And I'm talking like across the front door.
I either made up a good reason or there's a real reason. I can't remember which, but I had it before. I can't remember it now.
Anyways, it's fine. Who cares?
But,
it's all water under the gigantic box blocking the entrance to my house.
But yeah, Godzilla, great. By the way, did you notice? I had to rewind a couple times. So at the end, she has this black thing on her neck. Did you see that?
If I did, I forget.
It's very subtle, but I was watching on my big projector. So what's interesting about the ending is that it's not exactly a happy ending. Like, so when she hugs him, you see this black form kind of spread over her neck that looks like the fin of Godzilla.
Oh.
And I looked it up. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Because I couldn't tell at first it was her hair. So apparently they've done this before where Godzilla can infect human beings.
Oh.
So she's actually infected by Godzilla.
Oh, I think I did remember that.
And so, like, even in this happy ending, it's still reminding you of the... I mean, it's kind of a brilliant ending because it's the ultimate, like, use of a genre to explore bigger ideas. So on one hand, it is doing that thing I hate, which is trying to set up a sequel, Like the black thing on her neck. Godzilla,
and then Godzilla's coming to life.
Thing. That's like all sequel setup. But what it's actually doing, I think, or this is how I choose to believe it, it's using the tropes of the hinting at a sequel to talk about how the trauma really is still there and hasn't left them, and to remind you, of course, of the radiation that people faced years later. So it actually uses this, I mean, there might be a sequel, but in my head, it uses this kind of commercial trope to actually explore it even deeper. And I just think it's so brilliant.
The movie's amazing. It's very Spielbergian. By the way. I mean, it feels like Jaws at times.
There's many Jaws references. Yeah. The yellow barrels and a couple shots of them on the boat are exactly like Jaws.
Yeah, it's fun. But the movie manages to be fun as hell and beautiful as hell. And evidently had a very low budget, too.
Yeah, you can kind of see a little, don't you think?
I guess I didn't know. I mean, I was so in the film that I didn't notice. Also, the performance. That lead guy is like unbelievable.
He's incredible.
And the kid is like off the chart. It's like one of the best child performances I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Kiki or
and the-
Kikyo, Cuckoo head, poo-poo, whatever. Jesus Christ! Don't do that voice. It's offensive. I'm starving.
The stuff with his wife, is the woman who's with telling him to like live.
I never hit record.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
And then when he's like, the war's not over. It's just so powerful.
It's a powerful film. It's emotional, more emotional for me than anybody else on earth. And
it reminds me of Altman in the sense that like it does try to be about community. So even at the end when he's kind of doing his thing on the plane, you know, it's still so focused as well on the community trying to come together, you know, so it's not completely caught up in the individualistic actions, you know, which might have been more the American way.
It's the perfect combination of it's a perfect film. I mean, it really is the best film of the year, and I actually think it's not even close. Like, I loved Poor Things. I didn't love Oppenheimer. What are the other movies from last year? I can't remember.
Holdovers is good.
Ugh.
But yeah, no, I think it is the best movie of the year. Yeah, no, it was incredible. Did it win anything?
It won sound editing or something. I think they did the thing now. The Oscars do the thing now where they give everything something. They're like, you get this thing and this thing.
But it's
So
also
I don't know how I didn't get screenplay and actor nominations.
I know it's like such
horseshit.
a great fucking screenplay. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, no, it's incredible, and it's like, yeah, it's the way he just feels like nothing.
I told you to watch it.
You did, yeah. I've been wanting to watch it, but yeah, it's.
Why you gotta cut that down? You know?
Well, I've heard other people, but you did, yeah. You actually did make me watch it finally.
Thank you.
It's just a powerful, beautiful movie, and some of the Godzilla shit is like the whole opening on the boat. I finally get why Godzilla's cool. The height is just so interesting. Like, I've always been more of a Jurassic Park dinosaur man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I like real shit, you know? But I mean, not real, but like based on something, you know, like dinosaurs are real. But the way the ocean's just like his fucking bathtub is so amazing.
Right.
The way he just comes out of there and
The scenes with T-Rex, whatever the fuck its name is, Godzilla, are the least interesting scenes, but they're still fun.
They're still fun though.
Yeah.
But I do think the special effects probably you can tell a little. Sometimes it looks a little like, you know, when you have the phone and you film something, you can put like a fake little monster roaming around on there. It looks a little like that at times, but the characters are so good, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like watching an old Hitchcock movie.
Yeah,
where it doesn't.
exactly.
Jimmy Stewart's falling out of the window. It just looks silly,
Fast
but you're
forward,
like, it's great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie, and
It's a real throwback. It harkens.
I mean, it's not as good as the Matthew Broderick version, but it's right under there.
Matthew Broderick should have, I hope he gets a Lifetime Achievement Award. I talk about this all the time. Cable Guy, Ferris Bueller, Election, 3 of the great comedic performances
He is
or
incredible.
straight man performances in these movies. Unbelievable. I didn't want to go the whole episode without talking about Election.
You know what I think is also really underrated? I know it's going to sound weird, but I think Ben Stiller as a director is really underrated. If you think about it, he's made so many classic comedies. Cable Guy, Zoolander, Tropic Thunder.
Reality Bites?
Reality Bites. Those are like, I can't remember Reality Bites. Is it good? But,
I like it.
But the other 3 are like brilliant. Like, and I feel like people obviously respect him, but like, I don't think anyone looks at him like this amazing comedy director that he is.
Well, I think people think he's an asshole.
He wasn't, yeah.
But I love him. I think he's the best.
Yeah, someone else on a podcast brought up how Rob Reiner, they said there's certain directors who've made 5 perfect movies, and Rob Reiner is one of them.
I talk about this all the time. I talk about it on stage at Grove 34. That guy was on fire. It's great. Like, he has one of the great drop-offs of all time. The list is insane.
Yeah.
Like, he did Spinal Tap, When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, Misery, Stand By Me.
You know what I was thinking though? I was like, why isn't he like? Why don't people look at him the same way they look at I don't know, a lot of other great directors? And he is great, but I realize all his movies tend to actually be featuring another artist as kind of the main force. If you think about it, like, this is Spinal Tap's clearly, you know, the Christopher Guest crew.
Yeah.
And When Harry Met Sally is definitely like a Nora Ephron, like screenplay that's great.
Right.
And the same thing is actually Princess Bride too. It's almost like
Princess Bride. I forgot Princess Bride, which is the best of all of them.
And Misery, which is like, kind of like
Stephen King
and a great screenplay by William Goldman. So it's almost like he's almost like a theater director where you like he makes you like love makes you realize how great the script is, and he kind of stands out of the way, kind of.
Yeah, he was red hot, and I don't know what he's directed at all in the last.
I mean, he's made
years.
better movies than Ron Howard.
Well, Ron Howard, Backdraft, masterpiece. Apollo 13, masterpiece.
I'd say Apollo 13, Backdraft, masterpiece.
I love Backdraft.
But Rob Reiner.
Backdraft, one of the first movies we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
I love
when we did
Backdraft.
12 movies in one episode?
Yeah. The
Where we're
first podcast was like a Rogan. It was like 7 hours long.
And it was like 10 movies where like we kept on cutting it down to like, we're like, maybe we'll do 8 movies. Maybe we'll just do 4. We eventually cut it down to not doing the podcast.
Right. Well, originally, too, we were doing movies that I had seen 50 times.
Yeah,
Like the first
yeah.
episode, we're talking about Shawshank and Pulp Fiction and Quiz
Yeah.
Show or something like that. And then we did Tom Cruise, and you refused to watch the movie, which I was bummed because I wanted to talk about all the right moves, and you were like, I just didn't watch it.
No, I did watch that.
No, you didn't.
I didn't watch. I did. Oh, no, you're right. Which one's all the right? I watched Risky Business.
Yeah. Craig T. Nelson, Leah Thompson. You see her tits. I should have told you that. You
Oh,
would have
yeah,
watched
well, you buried the lead there, didn't you?
it.
Hey, by the way, guess how lead is spelled? Bury the lead.
Let me guess. L-E-E-D.
No, L-E-D-E.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? Apparently it's not. I always thought it was lead like L-E-A-D, like the lead of the story.
Well, you're spelling it wrong because you have a list.
But apparently it's it's a reference to the machine that actually creates the newspaper, a lead. It's like the
no
lead.
kidding.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. No one. Yeah. Interesting fact. Well, anyway,
This is fun. We're at an hour here. I mean, that's a good episode.
That's a good episode. Yeah,
I wanted to do 10 minutes.
this has been fun, man.
Godzilla rule. I'm not starting the podcast. Godzilla rules. Godzilla -2.
Why is it called that?
I don't know. I didn't get it either.
Why is it called Godzilla -1?
I kept calling it -0. I didn't know. I don't know.
-1. Who's minus? Lex, look at
Minus is the guy from Peanuts.
Godzilla -1. Do Japanese titles have like math in them?
That's so funny.
All the
7
movies-
samurais greater than.
7 squared samurai plus 8.
I don't know.
What is that? Godzilla -1.
I don't know.
Isn't it funny that a title can be bizarre and no one questions it? It's just like if it's
Yeah, you just call it the movie. Who's the one?
Godzilla.
Says the film is set post-war Japan before the original Godzilla movie.
Oh.
Yamazaki says the title refers to how people rise up from a situation that's at 0.
Oh.
Rival making the situation even worse.
Oh, the situation was at 0,
don't get
and
it.
Godzilla made it -1.
Wait, why? What?
It must be a Japanese culture thing. They rank their situation. Boy, we're at a real 0 here.
-1. Ooh.
Yeah, it should be
I
-7,000.
don't get it. So Godzilla is 0.
No, the nuclear bomb, the war puts them at 0. They're at 0 hope. They're at 0. They suck. Life sucks.
Yeah.
And Godzilla shows up. Now it's -1.
Worse.
Godzilla -1? Shouldn't it be 0 minus Godzilla?
I don't know. I think it should be nuclear dinosaur.
Shouldn't it be -4 Godzilla?
Why isn't it called nuclear dinosaur? That's what I don't get.
There must be something lost in translation there.
Great movie that takes place in Japan.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta
Anyway,
go.
You know, it's another good title. Brave, right?
Brave?
My special?
Oh yeah, Braveheart, 1995, Best Picture.
See my special. It's coming out tomorrow at 8 p.m. Please, I beg you.
I thought
I'm not
8:30.
begging you. 8 p.m. Don't tell them that.
I seriously thought you said 8:30 earlier.
No, that's my lisp. When you have a lisp and you say 8.
Did he say 8:30 earlier?
No, I said
fuck.
8. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. Watch it live.
I'm pumped.
Please help the algorithm. I'll be in the live chat. You can
I'll be there
talk to
too.
me.
I'll be in there.
Are you-
I'll pop in.
I texted you. I didn't get a response.
You
but
texted me?
Yeah,
Was it a
I-
group text?
just the apartment.
Okay, yeah. Well, no, I won't be at your house.
No,
I'll be at the stand. I've got
okay.
shows.
Let me know. I had text. I'm trying to get a count because I'm going to order
But group,
pizza.
nobody wants to get group texted. Text
I know,
me individually for an invite.
I
By the
know.
way, you did this also. By the way, I did talk about all this at Grove 34. I just trashed you on camera.
Oh, really?
I wanted to get your permission first. But you send out an individual birthday invite I'm like, I can't make it. Then you send a group. You just text all of your friends, which
was a
is so
huge
bizarre
mistake. It was
thing
a
to do.
huge
That's a weird
mistake.
thing to do. And then I say, I can't make it, but happy birthday. 5 days later, you're like, hey, guys, I'm running late, literally, for your own birthday party. And you text 17 people. I'm like, with my mother-in-law. I'm like, why am I getting the text?
Wow. I ran late.
And then
I was late
3
for my
days-
birthday party,
Yeah.
and I'm late for this podcast.
And then 3 days later, you send a group text being like, I'm having another get-together. It's individual.
I know, I fucked up. I did a group text for my birthday, and then no one wants to respond, and then I'm like, I don't know who's coming. So then I had to text people individually and be like, are you coming?
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
how you
lame.
do it. It
Well,
doesn't
that's
make any
what-
sense because everybody knows a group text is awful, so nobody wants to participate in the group text.
Well, that's why I did individual text, but I made it a group for the apartment group text is okay.
I guess. I mean, if it's like, hey, is anybody home? I have a giant package outside blocking the doorway.
Well, Sarah and Marty can come.
No, we're all going to be gone.
You're all. I thought you had to stand.
Oh, no, we're going to be, where is it? No, we're going to be in Key West.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, well, you keep saying tomorrow, so I'm thinking tomorrow, but we're recording this, and
Don't
January.
confuse them. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's called Brave.
8:30
No,
Friday.
it's 8 p.m. Watch it live. Share it. Like. Comment. I spent $15,000 on this special. Is that insane? So just I need the people. This is a grassroots. How does Bert Kreischer do this? You all got to make it happen. That's like kind of what he says, right?
Yeah, but I think he's like really
You all
successful.
gotta-
Oh,
You all got to make it happen.
that was terrible.
The people. What? Everyone loves when he does it.
I don't know if everyone does.
The people.
He's also like in better shape.
I know. He's like thin now.
He's not thin, but he's ripped.
Yeah, it's upsetting. When people fatter than me get thinner than me, it's just such a betrayal. But the people, I need the people to come through. So please give it a watch, give it a share, give it a like.
Can I plug anything? Or
We're out of time.
And I am on Punch Up Live. Sign up for my email list, for God's sakes. So that way I get all these people saying, oh, I missed you. I didn't know you were in town. Get an email. I'll barely send an email. I'll never email you. Only when I come to your town or when I do a big show. And so get on that Punch Up Live. Just sign up for the list. It's easy. And then I got, where am I? I'm in Key West all weekend. Atlanta, July 18th through the 20th. And Seattle, one night only, July 25th at the Crocodile. You had one of your best shows ever there.
You're doing the hereafter?
No, Crocodile.
Yeah, it's the same place, I think. But maybe, yeah. That's where I got paid less than the feature.
I remember. You tell it every episode.
Yeah, and I'll be at Club Comedy of
But you
Kansas.
give more plugs.
I'll be at Kansas Club Comedy. What's it called?
Kansas City Comedy Club.
Kansas-
Comedy Club of Kansas City.
Comedy Club of Kansas City.
8:30 tomorrow night.
No, that's in a
YouTube.
week. It's on my website. But watch the special. I love you. Thank you all so much.
Brave.
We'll be back next week.
Cut.
Joe likes Scorsese, and Raanan is Jewy. It's Joe and Raanan talk movies.